There is a moment in history so quiet, so fragile, that it feels like the world itself held its breath. A young woman stood alone with a newborn child in her arms. She was exhausted, frightened, and surrounded by whispers that were turning into accusations. No husband beside her, no protection, no explanation that people were willing to believe. In the eyes of her community, she had done the unthinkable, and now she had returned carrying a baby. This was Mariam. When she walked back to her people, every step felt heavier than the last. Faces hardened, fingers pointed, voices rose. They reminded her of her family's honor. They spoke of shame. They demanded answers she had already been commanded not to give. She did not argue. She did not defend herself. She simply held her child tighter. Then, in the middle of the chaos, she did something unexpected. She pointed to the baby. The crowd erupted. Some laughed in disbelief. Others grew angrier. How could a woman accused of such a thing mock them with silence and gesture toward an infant? Someone shouted, "How can we speak to a child in the cradle?" And then the impossible happened. The baby spoke. Not a cry, not a murmur. Clear words, measured, powerful. Words that cut through noise like light through darkness. "I am a servant of God. He has given me the scripture and made me a prophet. He has blessed me wherever I may be and commanded me to pray and give charity as long as I live. He has made me kind to my mother and not arrogant or miserable. Peace was upon me the day I was born. Peace will be upon me the day I die, and peace will be upon me the day I am raised alive." The crowd fell silent. This was not the voice of an ordinary child. It carried dignity far beyond its size. In those few sentences, the baby did what no argument could have done. He cleared his mother's name. He declared his mission. He introduced himself to the world not as a scandal, but as a servant chosen by God. Imagine the shock on those faces. The same mouths that had accused now hung open. The same hearts that burned with suspicion were forced into awe. A newborn had just spoken with the authority of revelation. For Mariam, this was more than a miracle. It was mercy. She had carried the weight of fear alone, trusting a promise she could not yet see fulfilled. And in her weakest moment, her own child became her defense. She did not need to shout. She did not need to beg. Heaven answered for her. The baby was Jesus. From his first public act, he was already teaching. His first words were not about power or status. They were about servitude, worship, kindness to his mother, and peace. Even in the cradle, his message was humility before God and compassion toward people. There is something deeply human in this scene. A mother misunderstood, a society quick to judge, a child who becomes a sign that truth does not always arrive the way we expect. Sometimes it arrives small, fragile, and wrapped in cloth. Sometimes it speaks from places we think are silent. The story reminds us how quickly people can build certainty on rumor, and how suddenly that certainty can collapse in the face of truth. It reminds us that dignity can survive accusation, that patience can outlast slander, The divine wisdom can unfold in moments that seem unbearable. A baby spoke. A mother was honored. A crowd was humbled. And history was never the same again.